Our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is back, but this time on television. That's right, Tom Holland is starring in this new series that, let me say, is fantastic. We're going to jump into the review of The Crowded Room right now. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the new series, The Crowded Room, which is available. Well, the first 3 episodes are available right now on Apple TV Plus, which is as of June 9th. Now, listen, I checked out all 10 episodes here of this limited series. I had an opportunity to check out and was able to screen this entire series. Let me say, the first 3 episodes are fantastic. Go watch those now if you haven't. If you have, let me give you some key points real quick. Now that I watched the whole series, you totally want to make sure you keep an eye out on every character that Tom Holland's character Danny interacts with. It is going to play a very important particular part in terms of the plot and everything that happens later on in this season. Let me just tell you that right now. Keep your eyes on every interaction that Danny has here. And then the title screen, you know, the opening intro video also has clues in terms of what's happening in this series. So I just want to throw those hints. And I think that upon watching it just to see how events are rolling, kind of put your detective hat on and look for all of the clues, because there's a lot of little things that will almost give you rewatchability once you get later on in the season to some of the things you probably didn't pick on earlier in the season. So yeah, the first 3 episodes are available now, and a new episode will be available weekly, totaling 10 episodes here. Now listen, this takes place in 1979, where Danny is arrested after a shocking crime. I'll just leave it at that right now. And with that shocking crime, you know, he's being brought in. He's having a series of interrogation or interview rooms. And with that, we start to really unravel his past. We unravel his relationships. We get to know Danny. And I mean, beyond getting to know Danny in terms of like the viewers and in terms of of his investigator, you know, trying to really get a profile of this guy, you really start to see a case being built for his defense. And getting to know him plays a very, very, very critical and pivotal part in terms of how they're going to approach this case, because with this crime at hand, you know, how are they going to eventually win the case for him? So again, you know, this guy Danny, and you learn. I'm gonna talk about some of the things in the first 3 episodes because they're available now. We see that he gets kicked out of school for drugs. You know, he meets a bunch of different folks. One of the characters that he meets that I'm overly first of all, I love the actor in Sasha Lane who plays Ariana. You know, you see that people are very keen to him, you know, and while he has some troubles at home, which eventually lands him outside of his house, you know, we see that he also makes substantial relationships with folks. You know, he has Mike, he has Annabelle, who's just like his love interest, and again you have Ariana, who's kind of there to kind of support him, and some other folks. I don't want to give too much away with that still, but I will say, like, the first 3 episodes totally sets the foundation in terms of like what the show could be, because when you get to the 4th episode, it starts like a new series again. The mystery gets deeper, but the feel and the toning is different. Frankly, it feels like an episode or a part of the movie. What's the movie called? Kingsman. Like, it feels like Kingsman on the 4th episode. So like the change and the toning and everything kind of goes a little bit of a different direction here. But even with that, you know, the series gives you a nice. It's definitely a good thriller. Very, very much a mystery thriller. There's some action to it, so like that. I mean, like, there's moments of it that's kind of brutal, but nonetheless, I mean, it's an emotional roller coaster here. Like, you're up and down this entire series with Danny, because this boy's life is on the line here. He could go to jail and do serious time. And then when we learn more about the childhood trauma, his relationship with his mom, his relationship with his stepdad, some other things I'm not even going to mention, his love interest and some events that happened with him and her, being kicked out of school, being bullied, all sorts of different things are kind of happening with this character, right? And then for everything that you think you don't, because I'm going to tell you now, I think it's about the 7th episode is when it's the 8th episode. I got it written down here. No, it's the 7th episode. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes. It's the 7th episode where things really gets to going. Like the 7th episode is when you really start to see the connection with the title. The crowded room. What does that mean? How does that imply to what's happening here? Oh yeah, the 7th episode really makes it very clear what's kind of going on here. And with that, I mean, the series starts to talk about very important conversations here. And as I mentioned, this is taking place in 1979. So this series has a focus of mental health. And it's pretty much the law versus mental health. And that battle, especially in that era of where mental health wasn't taken serious, where it wasn't even considered a real thing in all aspects. There were certain things that were considered like, a mental health disorder by law. And there was other things like, well, if the law doesn't acknowledge it, then we don't. Like, there's all sorts of different things like that kind of happening as well, too. And yeah, they're going to discuss that. It's going to create conflict. It's going to create conversation. It's going to absolutely have your brains and the gears in your brains kind of turning about it, because you will see aspects in conversations and defenses in ways that you typically wouldn't see. I really do want to talk about one particular character here that comes in, and when this character, and I don't want to give too much away here, but I'll just say this. On the prosecution side here, the prosecution played by this lovely actress here, her arguments is very interesting, shall I say, especially in this era, and her arguments that pretty much debunks mental health being a use within the courtroom. I was kind of jaw dropped at this angle here, and I was kind of like, actually, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say here. But I will say, like, again, there's some really interesting conversations and parts of this series that will have you talking here. Now, going to Tom. Tom is, like, straight up, honestly, he's good in the first 3 episodes, the first batch. He's amazing. He's great. By the time this series is over, by the time this season's over, by the time you get to that 10th episode, he's great. Let me tell you that right now. He elevates his performance, and if you ever had any doubt of his range, he gets it in here. I'm going to give you a little bit of clue in terms of how I equated his performance here. He is giving me James McAvoy in Split. Like, he's that good, you know what I mean? And with that, this series is giving me like a little mix of like Sense8, if you remember that series on Netflix, but also with the quirk of All for One. If any of my anime fans out there, you'll get what I'm trying to put together here. And Tom really bodies this. And it is such a fascinating journey with this character, Danny. It keeps you at edge. Again, from the thrills, the mystery, the jaw-dropping and heart-dropping moments, the potential tears you may shed. I mean, this is just solid. I was hooked. Again, I had the opportunity to check out all 10 episodes. You have to check out the first 3, then 1 each week. But if this was a binge drop, you would not have gotten up. With that being said, you will have to tune in each and every week for this one. This was a very, very solid series. You want to check it out. The Crowded Room, folks. This is one to put on your must-watch list. Definitely talk to folks, because there is aspects of this that will create some conversation. That will, and because of the mystery aspect, you're gonna have different folks perceiving things differently. And I think that it's worth watching. It's also executive produced by Tom Holland, so good for him on that note. And I think with everything that's happening, as you start to see Danny's life unfold, and you're seeing these different elements of his life come into play and his history come into play, and everything that shaped him to be who he come. you will connect with this character in a way that you did not initially you thought you would in the beginning, to an ending that is just kind of just mind-blowing. So check out The Crowded Room, folks, again on Apple TV Plus. Those first 3 episodes are available right now. New episodes weekly. Jump in the comments, let me know your thoughts about it. And when you get to the finale, because I haven't talked about the finale, all I'm going to say is, once again, pay attention to everyone that Danny encounters. Also pay attention to that intro video. They're all little clues. And I also think there's a little bit at the end that still may have you wondering, like, wait a minute here. And we possibly can't talk about that, but I'm not going to talk about it right here. But yep, jump in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about it, folks. And stick around for more reviews very soon.